Welcome back to the biggest channel on YouTube, and in today's topic we're going to be covering the top 5 best boss fights in Insomniac's Marvel Spiderman games trilogy. We had a poll test where we asked you, the viewers and the subscribers, what you wanted to see next on this channel, and you voted to have the top 5 best boss fights in Insomniac's Marvel Spiderman games. And yeah, you have it, guys. We have finally brought it to you, and I am going to be covering this with a friend of mine, so feel free to go check out his channel because he makes great content too. If at any point you did like the video, please just smash the like button, subscribe, share with your friends, and obviously you should know it's impossible to fit in all the best boss fights in this, so we kind of narrowed it down to 5, and that's why it's important for you to go down in the comment section and let us know what your top boss fights is. And with that being said, let's get straight to the video. 5. Let's start the video off with the Miles and Rhino's boss fights, which I think is a very dynamic and iconic scene to open a game with. The combat is so dynamic. They have Rhino coming in and out of focus, so while Miles was busy fighting off the prisoners, it kind of gives you that feeling that you have something going on in the background which you have to watch out for, because it could come out of anywhere at some point. And what makes it better is the fact that we have a city destruction. Do you know what I mean? So I'm a sucker for, boss fights that goes around the whole city, so it shows how immensely strong these characters are. So you have Miles and Peter sticking to Rhino even though he was tearing through concrete walls and all that kind of stuff. It shows how strong these characters are and how dedicated they are to stopping Rhino. So we have the scene where they're in a shopping mall. Obviously it's during Christmas time, so families are out there shopping for the Christmas period, and Rhino's literally just running through, disregarding human life, and you have Miles kind of changing the trajectory, trying to minimize the casualties if there's any at this point. And then there was a scene where there was the baby in the front, and Miles tried to save the baby, and I think Peter did assist him as well, in being able to capture the baby's trolley. And obviously the fans took it to the next level when they paused the game, spin the camera around, and you can see Peter giving Miles a thumbs up. To me, that's the cherry on the cake, because it shows how much dedicated these developers are to add little details in the game. I also want to mention, minutes before this scene happening, you can see Rhino swinging on the Insomniac logo. It just amazes me, because how strong is that string on the logo to be holding Rhino, which we know weighs tons? Do you know what I mean? So I don't know, that's just another mystery here and there. So, and just to sum things up, we have the scene where Miles discovered his inner abilities. Obviously, he was able to use the Venom Punch for the first time, and that just made him different from the other Spider-Man, because obviously they were both Spider-Mans at that point, but then that made him different because he was then himself. And right up after the moment, Miles became OP, and it was time for Rhino to get packing. This is what makes the whole interaction so wholesome. It's the right intro for a game. I think they've done a really great job. The snow effects, the destruction of the city, the dynamic of the combat, going from one place to another here and there, showing you different scenes, and the capabilities of these heroes, and obviously the villain, makes this such a great game. Obviously we know they had a second fight in the game later on, but to me, I think the opening of the game is always the cherry on the cake, because it gives you more than what you expect, because it's just the start of the game, and obviously whatever they show after that is just something you've seen before. So this makes it a wholesome experience. Let me know in the comment section if you agree. 4.
So it's no secret that Marvel Spider-Man 2 was one of the most successful games to come out in 2023, and it would be very bad for me and Skadoosh not to mention one of the biggest boss fights out in the game, and yes, I'm talking about Kraven and Venom. Now this game definitely has some great boss fights, but this one kind of stands out to me and Skadoosh other than, the rest of them, because some of you guys may know, and I'm looking at my comic book friends here, that Venom and Kraven rivalry was some of the best battles that we have seen in the Marvel comic books. Now Kraven has fought Venom on multiple times and multiple different occasions in the comics, and the Venom variants that he did fight was Flash Thompson's Agent Venom, his Venom variant, and he also fought Eddie Brock's Venom variant. In both of these battles, Kraven the Hunter did seemingly get the upper hand on Agent Venom, and he did get the upper hand on Eddie Brock. But this was kind of crazy that Insomniac did this spin with having Harry as Venom, and it seems that, obviously you guys know because he got his head bit off, that Kraven did not win this battle. So now what's crazy is that this battle was so good because it was seemingly filled with so much emotion. Now Kraven was able to take on a lot of Spider-Man's villains and even Spider-Man and himself, and see that he knew that this symbiote suit, or whatever it was, the creature is what he was calling it, was going to be one of his biggest battles. As you guys can see that he antagonized Peter throughout the game to get him angrier and angrier, and even found out that what his weakness was obviously the sound. Now we both know that just like in the game, like Harry Osborn, Kraven the Hunter was sick. He was dying from a terminal cancer, and instead of letting the sickness take over his body completely, he decided to go out like a hunter. You know, he went to the streets of New York to find one of his biggest battles. He needed a new playground. Now, this battle has so much emotion, blood, and gore around it. It's only right that we add Kraven the Hunter and the Venom battle, you know, to the top 5. Even though Kraven died and got his head bitten off, this was still one of the best battles in the game.
The Lizard boss fight, in my opinion, is one of the best boss fights in the trilogy, and obviously there are just a few things that I wish they can clear out on how that even happened. Obviously, you have the Lizard here sneaking up to Peter, and Peter wasn't able to sense him from a mile away, even though he had the black symbiote suit. Take, for example, the Marvel Infinity War movie, where you have Peter sleeping on the bus and he was able to sense that the city was under attack. Do you know what I mean? So he should be able to sense the Lizard coming, but obviously I guess being a Lizard comes with, you know, perks and, you know, props and all that kind of stuff, you know, where you can, you know, sneak up to, you know, Spider-Mans and not getting detected. But anyways, the boss fight was amazing. I like the dynamic in the boss fight, because obviously I did mention earlier that I am a sucker for a city destruction boss fight. So the boss fight started down from the sewage where they were fighting, kicking the cells here and there, and you know, it just went out of hand, where the Lizard then burst out of the sewage right under the museum and then went through the city in the mayhem mode. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you were a citizen at that point and you seen a giant lizard coming out your sewage, you're gonna be like, what the hell is going on? So it just shows the immense strength and rivalry of these two characters. In my opinion, I think it's one of the best scenes in the game. They've been using the trailer because they know it's gonna capture a lot of attention. Like during the fight scene when the Lizard smashed Peter through the concrete wall, and then they showed us an up-close look of the Lizard's mouth with the sharp teeth and the slimy tongue, and up until in that point, Peter was still trying to get the antidote through the Lizard's skin, but obviously due to the scaly skin, it was it was a tough job, you know what I'm saying, which then prolonged the fight to then go much further. And obviously, you know, the hunters did intervene. Kraven did come out of nowhere, you know, he comes out of nowhere most of the time. Like, then he has the crossbow with an explosive ammunition, which he shot the Lizard, and, you know, obviously he did cut his tail in half, and they showed us the regeneration of the Lizard, which is awesome. And obviously the fight then went back down again to the sewage, which I think, you know, it would have been better if they changed the environments, because we went from the sewage to the city and then back to the sewage again. It would have been much better if they changed the third environment, but it was still a good boss fight, you know what I'm saying? It has all the boxes ticked, you know, the dodge sequence, you know, when he's running up the skyscraper, you have to dodge at the cars not to try to get hit. And obviously, like, having the third party who joined the boss fights, the hunters, giving you a sense of something else going on in the background, so you just know you and the Lizard. So you have the police, you have the Lizard, and, you know, you have Kraven as well. And then you have Peter's arrogant statements, for example, when he said, cool, yes, the cops are here, you know, stay out of my way, something like that. Yeah, so it kind of makes the whole boss fight, you know, sound and look very menacing.
So for the number 2 spot, I have Sandman, Miles, and Peter. Now, a lot of people are going to be upset about this, but hear me out. We all know that Marvel Spider-Man 2 had some amazing boss battles like Peter and Miles, Peter and the Lizard, and even Kraven and Venom, etc. This is the very first mission in the game, and for some reason, it felt like as if it was supposed to be the last mission. Now, hear me out. One thing that I do like about Insomniac games is that when you play Marvel Spider-Man 2018, it's already hinted that Peter has fought a lot of these enemies in his past, and they are currently locked up on a raft. Now, we all know that Sandman was mentioned in the previous games when you go around finding Peter's backpack, and he says this.
Still not sure if opening this would set the Sandman free, but I'm in.
Now, this battle between Peter, Miles, and the Sandman was super epic. We finally got to see and use Peter's for the first time. His iron arms, which look even better on the Iron Spider-Man suit that was in the Avengers Infinity War, and being able to immediately let fans know that you were able to swap between both Spider-Man in the game and them having different abilities, obviously, on top of showing them that the different gadgets that both Spider-Man would be able to use as they're taking on their different approaches around New York City. This battle again was filled with a lot of anger coming from Marco, aka the Sandman, because Kraven the Hunter did find out where him and his daughter were currently living and kidnapped her to ensure that Sandman would essentially get the job done and cause the distraction in which he was used for. And even after the battle, the finishing touch was that getting Marco his memory back. Once he was captured, you have to go around New York City and finding the crystals in order to help him regain his memory. Now, a lot of fans, including myself, said that Peter and Miles and Sandman battle was arguably debatably better than the ending boss battle, between Peter, Venom, and Miles. But I am curious as to what the fans have to say down in the comment section below.
First of all, let's take a moment to appreciate Insomniac's attention to detail when it comes to this anti-Hulk suit. I mean, take a look at this. This looks amazing and majestic at the same time. So Peter had to make his own suit in order to face off against Dr. Octavius, just to be on the same level just in case. And obviously, right up in that time, Peter was convinced that he only knew Dr. Octavius' real identity, while Octavius didn't know his. And obviously, I think Peter was pulling his punches right up until that moment when Dr. Octavius revealed that he knew Peter's identity.
Such a disappointment. Parker. You knew? I tried to warn you, Peter, but you didn't listen. You knew.
And you can see in that moment how he changed his mood, and he was like, you knew, kind of thing. Like, you still went on with causing all this pain, you making my Aunt May die, and you're still going on. Like, what kind of monster are you? Right up until that moment, Peter was pulling his punches, and when he discovered that Octavius knew his identity and didn't care less, like he was ready to go through him in order to achieve his goals, that was when Peter understood that the dog he once knew is no longer salvageable, and obviously he had to take him out. So the gloves came off, he wasn't pulling his punches anymore. I don't know how your gameplay was in the sequence right here, but I was kicking his behind, you know what I mean? Like, because obviously you have to understand that Dr. Octavius was like a mentor to Peter. He was someone who Peter looked up to, like kind of a father figure. So seeing him going down this route meant like he has lost who he once loved. And obviously the city being in danger, Peter had to, you know, be better at that point, take up responsibility, and you know, not holding on to emotions. Don't let your emotions make the decisions for you, or don't let your fear cloud your judgment. But at the same time, you know, take up and, you know, be a better person to do what had to be done. And that's what he went on to do in this point. So it was kind of a painful scene looking at Peter destroying what he once believed in. And obviously, if you guys remember the end scene when Dr. Octavius told him to rest assured that his secret stays with him, that's if he helps him not to get taken by the authorities, because he's gonna lose his arm, because he doesn't like to be in his limited body. So he was telling Peter, if you can help me out of this state, you just rest assured your secret stays safe, and you kind of thing. So which kind of leads up to, you know, Marvel Spider-Man 3, where we believe Dr. Octavius might reveal to Osborn the identity of the Spider-Mans, okay? And just to take you back a few episodes of the moment when Dr. Connors did ask Peter, how did you get the symbiote? And he said Harry gave it to him. In my opinion, I kind of felt like Spider-Man did give up his identity in that moment, because how many friends did Harry have after he came back from his treatment? I mean, he only had a few friends. So if you're like a genius, you can sum it up. You can know where or who he gave it to and who Spider-Man is, kind of thing. So obviously this is something that just, you know, came up with, and I kind of realized it while I was playing the game again. I was like, oh, he did kind of hint he's Peter pretty much, and obviously. But anyways, so the sequence of this boss fight and the message it was given to be better. Obviously, his Aunt May died while he had the antidote, the serum in his hands. He could have given it to his Aunt May, but he decided to let her die and save many. So this is what the true message of Spider-Man is, to be better, to take the tougher decisions when you have to take them. And this is why this scene right here, this combat scene right here, this boss fight is one of the best ever in the first game. Obviously the suit was amazing, the characters were amazing, the ambience where the fight took place, you know, in this raining, stormy weather, just made the whole thing top notch. And here you have it, guys. These are our top 5 best boss fights in Insomniac's Marvel Spider-Man trilogy. Also, do not forget to smash the like button, share this video, and if you have any other list that differs from ours, let us know in the comment section below. We want to talk about it. You know what I mean? This is what we're here for, to create a space where we just talk about cool things in video games. And if you want to know more stories in regards to the Marvel Spider-Man 3, the speculations, the leaked items, and what is basically within brackets confirmed, check out this video right here on the left side. And obviously, if you want to know more on what is to come in the future, as we have a top 10 superhero games you should be looking up to, you should click on the video right here on the right side. And with that being said, I'm going to catch you guys in my next one. Skadoosh.